Welcome back to the channel. It's time for War 6. We've fallen a little behind, but we're going to catch up. And we're starting off with this one. Quite a few fights. We're going up against the Protect Global here. You see it's kinetic transference with Power Bond. Normally going up against this Mojo like this, I would want to use my pre-fight, but I knew I was going to have to use it later in the war. I was planned for it, and with Torch's Sig, it's just not guaranteed I'm going to get it there. So I was pretty sure I would end up sending Mojo Red here. Of course, I make a mistake there. That doesn't help. But I'm not really worried about it. You know, he's a Mystic. This is a 565. So I'm not sweating it too much. Letting him hit into the, which is increasing my my Spolders. As you know, he's going to throw his SP3. Like I said, I'm not concerned because I know it's not going to do very much damage. The whole point was just to get through this fight, and I didn't want to use an invulnerability boost. I felt like if I spent my time trying to bait his specials, then I actually could end up in some trouble, potentially, if it went wrong. Just going to have to sacrifice, use some health pots, not really a huge issue, and just get through this fight alive and advance is really the thought process here. You see how high the Smolders are. We're up at 22, and then just come in there and finish it off with the special. So happy that that went well. Mojo can be a really tough defender, and just not worried about it, you know, with the kinetic transfers and things like that. So it was fine. Knew it was going to be ugly, and time to move on to the next fight, which is the strike counter power drain here. So, you know, if you're not familiar with this, if you don't do the hits in a certain order, your power is going to start to drain. It's almost inevitably going to start happening. And I wanted to use Dragonman for this. I was bringing him in for another fight later in the war anyways. And with his power gain, he pretty much just gets around the node. Yeah, you're missing out on a little bit of the combat power right there, but it doesn't matter. And it was really cool. Like, I could just really slow play him here. He can be played differently depending on the matchup. And if you want to be super aggressive or slow play, just slow played him. I didn't even do many combos or hits, as you saw. So it wasn't triggering the power suppression just yet. Got to 3 bars of power. Gonna go ahead and throw this. Of course, Masakure is not the toughest defender, especially if you don't have the bleed or the poison on you there, which I don't, because you know, he's immune. Dragonman is immune, and this fight wasn't overly difficult. But I do think it's a cool example of how Dragonman, or any champion with these big power gain boosts, how they can kind of get around nodes, right? We've talked about that a lot, about why Mystics are often so great. It's because of their ability to manipulate power in a fight. And Dragonman is an example of that with its power boost or its power gain we're used to seeing from some of the Cosmics. So this was cool. I enjoyed this. You know, we have 10 of the power suppressions on there, and it just flat out doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Dragonman does not care. And he's fun. He's cool. So then we're moving on. If I remember correctly, I think we're going to be going up against a Sim Sup here. Another situation where, you know, the champion that you're bringing in just really doesn't care that you're not gaining much power. In this, especially in a fight like this, I'm not going to be needing to throw specials with Human Torch, so I can really just forget about the node. This isn't like the one where the defender is gaining a Fury buff or something like that, where they're going to be hitting harder. So really here, I can just parry, heavy, get my temperatures up. Now the temperature is up to 20, and then just some light mediums here. And you see we've even triggered the Flame On. So this fight was definitely another no worries about the outcome type of fight here. So I think we're gonna have to hit him a couple more times before he dies, if I remember correctly. So it's been a bit, but I remember some of these pretty well here. And we were having a pretty good season at this point. 4Loki was having a pretty good season, and I was pretty happy with my season at this point so far too. This was a very cool one. I enjoyed this. This is why I was actually saving the Flame On. This is the Rage node, right? So I think it's like 2.5% of Sentinels of health. If I took that off in a single hit, you know, did that 5 times, he'd go unblockable. Not a massive concern, right? I still have my masteries on and things like that with Torch, but I'm really just trying to build my temperature. And then the cool thing I think about this, or the thing just be, is I'm not going to even evade the special. I'm going to let it hit me with its energy damage. You saw what it did to my Smolders. They're already up to 5. I think we're going to do it 1 or 2 more times in this fight. And then it's just going to allow the Nova Flames to stay on longer. And you see that he's really starting to melt at this point, right? Normally, you know, pretty decent defender and on Rage, but Human Torch can just get around so many of these things. That's part of what makes him so good. You see the temperature and the Smolders going up there just because we're taking the blocked hit on the special. It's not an overly difficult evade, but in this case, it's better to go ahead and just let it hit into you, and it benefits Human Torch there. So at this point, we're just playing keep away, wanting him to throw that so I can get the benefits from the special one. And his analysis is complete, but yeah, you know, Torch doesn't care. We've used our pre-fight. This fight is over. Okay, I forgot about this one for some reason. I really love this fight. This is a really cool example of what Cosmic Ghost Rider can do. Yes, Killmonger is an excellent matchup for him because he immediately breaks that armor. So you're removing one of the major things that's dangerous about Killmonger, the reverberation. But we've talked a lot on this channel about Cosmic Ghost Rider and this ideal rotation, and I really think forget that for now. Focus on his judgment system, what's being triggered, and how that works, and then how you can reset it should you trigger dexterity and you didn't mean to, or how you can work through it, and then really get into those rotations. We've seen a lot of those put out by some really great YouTubers. You know, I have a video on it too, and this just shows you this hurt locker, right? So ideally, we're not throwing the same special multiple times. There's this enhanced special one on the node there, but really it's the hurt locker that we're gonna need to play around with. So if I remember correctly, I didn't even use my power back boost, and I don't think I removed dexterity. I think I'm just gonna go straight to that SP2 here. So, you know, the medium ender there to trigger vigilance. I believe we'll do the light ender. No, okay, let's see. Maybe I'm gonna go all the way to the SP3. Let's see what my plan was here. Yep, I'm going all the way to the SP3. I'm gonna go ahead and intentionally trigger Dex, or just know that I may end up doing it with that, and that's totally fine. So I went with this rotation. It's gonna work out really well. You'll see here. We're gonna do the parry heavy here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and throw the SP3 afterwards. I wanted to get him down and out of power. None of that was really necessary, but it's fine. It worked out well. I'm feeling good in this fight. So we've now triggered the 5 judgments, right? Meaning anything we trigger while we still have the, I believe it's called the damnation on him, those buffs from that will be elongated significantly. Watch what this power gain buff does. Watch how far it takes us up. All right. And just went straight into the SP2 with all those armor breaks. We've got nothing to worry about, and this fight is going to be over. So that's what we're talking about, right? We even triggered dexterity. I didn't even let that reset. Totally fine. Enough damage with the fury and all those armor breaks to just take care of that Killmonger and just wipe him off the mat. No power back boost or anything like that. All right, so this is a bit of a learning lesson. It definitely was for me about in-fight management and adjustments. And then if you end up taking this, you know, you can learn from it too. Let's go ahead and look at it though. This is going to be aspect of evolution, enhanced special 2 bias. But the real problem is that improved power gain of Hyperions. We know that can be the problem with him. They were running the global with the extra large and large defenders. I think that's protect. So bringing in an extra large attacker was going to be beneficial. Could be a little more difficulty bringing in like a Doom or a Magic or something like that. So we're starting off fine. My plan was to go ahead and bait the SP1s and SP2s as long as he was willing to throw them. Then I was going to cycle my SP3s into the SP2, land a couple of those, and then detonate the heavy. Great plan, right? I mean, look at this. Right now, we're winning this fight. There should be no problems. I'm feeling really, really good about it here so far. So let's see how this goes wrong, because it does, trust me. All right, and I think this was the real first issue here. He's gonna throw his SP3, and so now we've lost Dragon Man's advantage of having Hyperion cornered. We're gonna be on our side of the map now, and watch how this goes. I'm unstoppable, I'm unblockable, but I don't have that cornered, the extra damage from that, but we're still fine. Look how well we are doing here. But again, while I have my big buffs on and my ability to really do the damage, Hyperion's gaining that power. I don't have a high sig Dragon Man. I think having a high sig would have really been helpful. But we're still fine. We're up 94 to 63%. We're clearly about to send him red. And I think this is where I realized I'm making a mistake. I'm making a mistake. And I really think what I should have done was pause the game. I think I should have paused the game and been like, okay, what's the problem? How do I adjust? But I tried to figure it out on the fly. and you're going to just see continued poor play here. I've got the Incinerates on Hyperion, and right there, if I hadn't done, I don't even know why I threw those two mediums. One he parried, the other one he backed out of and didn't punish. I got very lucky on that. If I had just thrown the heavy, I would have detonated the Incinerates that were on him, potentially killing him, if not getting him significantly lower. Even if he then throws his SP3, I'd probably survive it and finish off the fight. I did talk to B Manny about it, and I believe Clown, and everyone pretty much agreed that, not the easiest fight, but it was obviously winnable. And I talked to Dreamin too. That's who I talked to. He gave me some great advice. But one of the consensus was, well, ideally what I probably should have done once I realized that kind of SP3 back and forth was going on between myself and Hyperion was let Hyperion throw his first, then throw mine with Dragon Man. So that way Hyperion would have been cornered. I could go in, take advantage of the unblockable and the unstoppable, and then of course having that cornered debuff or what have you, whatever it's called, and taking advantage of that and really just finished off the fight. So it is what it is. I was told if we see him again, probably going to send me there, which is exciting. Sometimes it takes me a time or two to really learn a fight and kind of understand it. And so I'm excited about getting the opportunity to do it again. He's only at 31% health. I still have my indestructible boost on, so it's not a great like proof of concept here, but you can get a sense of how this fight could go or should go here. He threw the SP2, which is also obviously helpful. Throwing my SP3, going to move him onto his side of the map and then do the damage that ideally I would have done in the first one. There we go. Looks like I decided to play a little more safe. I did have the indestructible boost, and I just wanted to make sure I only had one death, which was probably smart there. No reason to be overly aggressive. Keep the deaths low. We did end up winning this war. We're having a great season. I'm sure you've probably seen that coming out. So feel really good about that. I know how the rest of the wars went, and my wars actually went pretty well. They've gone fine. I ended up basically missing two of them because I was on vacation and without cell service. But the alliance I'm in, a bunch of really awesome players, and they did amazingly, even down a summoner. But we'll talk about that more in the next war video. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. See you next time, and take care. I hope you either learned something, were entertained, or even better, a little bit of both. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow on Twitter at Vega Gaming 583. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.